At the southern tip of the Earth, where the oceans clash in fury, stands a cape sailors once called the Everest of the Seas, a place where more than 800 ships were lost, where thousands of sailors found their final harbor. This is Cape Horn. Welcome to the end of the world. Cape Horn is a rocky headland at the very south of South America, on Chile's Hornos Island. Here, the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans meet. To the north lies desolate Patagonia. To the south, 400 miles of open water to Antarctica. This narrow stretch is the Drake Passage, one of the most dangerous places on the planet. Storms here raise waves as tall as 10-story buildings, and winds, circling the globe without obstacle, strikes the cape with a force that no ship can truly withstand. Long before the Panama Canal existed, Cape Horn was the only route between the Atlantic and the Pacific. Every ship sailing from Europe to Australia, California, or Asia had to pass this deadly gate. But each attempt was a gamble. Some made it through, others vanished forever. Storms could last for weeks. Ice scraped against wooden hulls, fog swallowed icebergs, and the sea whispered to sailors their doom. Since then, Cape Horn has become a symbol, a measure of courage and madness. The first men to brave Cape Horn were the Dutch, Isaac Lemaire and Willem Schouten. In 1616, they sailed south of Tierra del Fuego and discovered a new path into the Pacific. In honor of his hometown, Hoorn, Captain Schouten named the cape Cape Horn. Since then, its name has meant one thing: the final test of a sailor. The route around Cape Horn wasn't just hard, it was pure torment. Winds, waves, cold, and exhaustion drove men to madness. For days they didn't sleep, worked waist-deep in freezing water, lost fingers to frostbite, and friends to the sea. There were no engines then, only sails and the will to live. If a ship was caught in a storm, it either broke through or disappeared. If you love exploring the most dangerous and mysterious places on Earth, support the channel with a subscription. It helps me bring you more stories from the far side of the world. But Cape Horn isn't only about storms and ships. Over time, it gathered stories you won't find in any logbook. The sea, as always, keeps its secrets. Among sailors, there was an old belief: those who die near Cape Horn never truly disappear. Their souls turn into albatrosses, forever circling above the roaring waves. That's why every sailor, when spotting a white bird near the cape, would bow his head, because maybe, just maybe, it was his fallen comrade, returning from the deep to guide him home. They say there was once a captain who refused to turn back, even when the storm tore his ship apart. The crew begged him to retreat, but he stood his ground until the very end. The ship vanished into the abyss, and ever since, on stormy nights, you can hear a distant voice shouting, "Full ahead," and the waves seem to rise higher, obeying the unseen command. Some swore they'd seen the Flying Dutchman near Cape Horn, the ghost ship doomed to sail forever. Meeting it meant certain death. But others believed the Dutchman appeared to warn them, to give one last chance to turn back. On the southern side of Hornos Island stands a cliff that looks like a human face. Locals call it the Stone Captain. They say he's the guardian of Cape Horn, a spirit who decides who may pass and who must remain in his waters. If the sea is calm, it means he's granted you permission. When the Panama Canal opened in 1914, Cape Horn lost its purpose. Merchant ships no longer risked their lives, choosing the short, safe route through Central America instead. But the Cape never truly died. It became a symbol, a challenge only the bravest still accept. Today, Cape Horn is no longer a route. It's a legend, a place people visit not for profit, but for meaning. Every year, solo sailors and around-the-world racers come here to face the sea itself. They know crossing Cape Horn means looking straight into the eyes of nature's power. On Hornos Island today stands a monument, an albatross with its wings spread wide. It's dedicated to all who never returned. They say if you stare at it long enough, you can hear the wind whisper, the cries of the lost sailors. It's a reminder, the sea doesn't belong to man. Man belongs to the sea. It's a boundary where the earth ends and legend begins, where every gust of wind carries the memory of those who defied the ocean. And when an albatross circles above the waves, perhaps it carries their voices. Thank you for walking with me to the very edge of the world. Subscribe so together we can explore more places where history lives and where the ocean still whispers.